My beloved child, do not rush past this moment. Do not treat these words as ordinary noise in a crowded room. I have arrested time for you. I have reached through the tangle of your day and placed my hand on your shoulder. Be still for a breath. Be still for a heartbeat. For what I am saying to you now is timely rescue. You are being reached in time. You thought you missed it. You thought the window closed while you were still measuring the frame, that the door sealed itself and your chance with it. You stood where you once felt wind and favor and found only a blank wall, and you called it punishment in your secret thoughts. But hear me. The closure was not a sentence against you. It was a shield held over you. I shut something you wanted to enter because it would have swallowed more of you than you imagined. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. You mourned a door as if it were a grave. You rehearsed your steps and your words and your timing. You replayed the moment when the latch would not lift, and shame dripped like rain through the cracks of your resolve. Disappointment, embarrassment, the fatigue of trying to restart what seemed finally sealed. You felt the ache of almost. And I say to you with tenderness and authority, I see it. I felt the tremor in your hands. I stood near when you smiled in public, but folded in private. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, Psalm 34:18, and I have been close to you. Listen to me now. The door you mourned will open again. It will not open the way it was. It will open under new conditions, not because I love you less, but because I have loved you fiercely. I will steady your heart before you step. I will clear the fog from your discernment so that what was once familiar will not seduce you back into slavery. I will whisper your true name until it grows louder than the labels that tried to define your edges. When it opens, peace will greet you at the threshold, not the old panic that demanded your soul. This is how you will know it is me. You have felt the heaviness of false conclusions pressing down. Maybe I am late. Maybe I am behind. Maybe I am somehow disqualified. My child, delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. What you interpret as detour, I often design as protection. What you called nothing happening, I called roots going deeper. The closure was not your disqualification. It was my intervention so that when I return you to the doorway, you can carry blessing without it breaking you. You have wrestled with the quiet dread of being the only one who didn't make it, the only one standing on the wrong side of an unmovable wall. You hid your fatigue behind excellence, behind making do, behind a brave face. You were not wrong to grieve. You were not weak to weep. I have never required you to be a statue. I require you to be mine. And because you are mine, I take ownership of your process, of your pacing, of your protection. Hear this hinge and hold it tight. What I am about to unveil in the next moments will explain why it closed and what changes now, so that when it reopens you do not misinterpret the invitation. I am aligning the inside of you with the outside of you. I am retrieving parts of your identity you loaned to the opinions of others. I am silencing the noise that made counterfeits look convincing. There was resistance you could not see, but I was never late to notice, never slow to defend. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Do not be afraid of this pause. This pause is a door before the door. I have paused you to unburden you. Lay down the scripts where you criticize yourself for not forcing an entrance. Lay down the obsessive checking to see if the seal has loosened. Place your hand over your heart now and breathe. Yes, even in this very moment, say with me, I will not rush past my rescue. Let your fingers agree with faith. Whisper it, write it where you can see it. I am being reached in time. Agreement is not noise. Agreement is alignment. I am not a God of almost. I am not a God who teases you to the edge of a miracle and pushes you into mockery. I am meticulous in every stage. I am sovereign over sequences and seasons. I hold calendars and courts you do not see. I weigh the cost of entrances and exits against the weight of your calling. When I say not yet, it is never indifference. It is a surgeon's hand selecting the right moment to heal what cannot be touched in a hurry. My arm is not too short to save, Isaiah 59:1, and my timing is not too late to redeem your path. So do not scroll past this. Linger in my voice. You are standing in the doorway of an explanation that will end confusion. What closed was not the end. It was a guard at your back preparing a better entrance. What felt like the last page was the fold between chapters. I am here with protective authority and tender intimacy to turn your grief into a steady hope that does not slip through your fingers the next time the handle turns. Stay with me, listen carefully, and let this word anchor you, because I am about to tell you why it closed and what changes now, so that when the hinges sing again, you will walk through with peace rather than panic, with identity rather than imitation, with discernment rather than desperation. You are being reached in time. Hear me now, because this is the hinge your heart has needed. The closure was mercy. I shut it before it shut you. You called it loss, but I called it rescue. I stood in the doorway you were reaching for, and I let it seal, not as punishment, but as a shield. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Some doors do not lead to promise. They lead to a corridor that narrows around your soul until you must pay with your peace to keep walking. I would not sell your peace to buy you speed. I would not lease your calling to rent you applause. I am your father, and I am your defender, and I intervened. Not every open door is provision. Some doors are bait dressed in opportunity, shortcuts that look like favor in the daylight, but turn into collections agents at night, demanding your rest, your relationships, your self-respect as monthly payment. You could not see the hooks beneath the welcome mat, the clauses written in invisible ink across the threshold. But I saw the fine print hidden beneath flattery. I saw the toll booths that would have bled your hope in increments. I saw the hunger on the other side that would not have been satisfied until you were smaller, quieter, safer to the insecurity of others, a trimmed version of the voice I gave you. You blamed yourself because the door did not honor your knock. You replayed conversations, your phrasing, your timing. You asked if a different email, a different tone, a braver moment would have turned the handle. You scrolled through days as if they were evidence exhibits against your worth. But my child, the issue was not your value. The issue was the risk you could not see. You wanted access. I wanted preservation. You asked for an entrance. I guarded your inheritance. I am not reluctant to promote you, but I refuse to let you be promoted into a prison. You have thought you were wrestling with people, policies, numbers that did not line up, calendars that refused to coordinate, but you are walking through an invisible battlefield. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, in heavenly places. Ephesians 6:12. I tell you this not to stir panic, but to clear your sight. The delay you felt at that threshold was not simply a human no. It was the friction of a realm that resents your name, pushing back against a life that carries light. There are systems that will smile at you while counting the cost of your brilliance to their control. And there are moments when my mercy arrives like a locked bolt because I know what they do not say out loud. I saw the culture behind that offer, the quiet cruelty hidden under excellence, the speed masquerading as urgency that would have trained you to despise slowness and call it failure. I saw the relationship that glittered with promise but rang hollow with demand, asking you to shrink to keep the peace you were never meant to counterfeit. I saw the contract with the tiny clause that would have owned your weekends, your worship, your wonder, I saw the platform that fed on applause more than truth, where your name would be cheered, then used, then emptied. It looked like fruit, but it was wax. It would shine for a moment and crumble in your mouth. I love you too much to let you bite it. Listen to my sentence and let it lift the weight. I shut it before it shut you. I shut it before it closed upon your sleep, before it dulled your discernment, before it bartered your laughter for the illusion of leverage. Yes, it stung. Yes, the sound of that latch echoed through your chest. But if I allowed you to ache for a page, it was to spare you a chapter of hemorrhaging. Better to blush at a closed door than bleed out behind an open one. Better to feel the sting of waiting than to carry the wound of a snare that calls itself destiny. I want you to see how much care I took. I did not slam it in chaos, I timed it. I did not yank it in anger, I weighed it. I measured what that path would draw out of you against the portion I have appointed for you. I considered your children, your future, your ministry to those not yet in your circle, and I chose your wholeness over your hurry. My arm is not too short to save, Isaiah 59:1, and my wisdom is not too dull to perceive the trap when you are too tired to see it. I am your shepherd, and sometimes a closed gate is a staff across the path of a cliff edge in fog. So do not condemn yourself for the replay in your mind. Release the courtroom of your own accusation. This is not the hour to prosecute your past moves. This is the hour to praise my protecting hand. Let this truth untie the knot. You did not miss the only chance you will ever have. You did not fail the final test. You were not discarded. You were preserved. I shut it because you are meant to carry more than a title. You are meant to carry peace. You are meant to hold a blessing that does not ask you to trade your identity at the counter. What I am preparing will not require you to dim what I lit in you to make others comfortable. Breathe now and let your body agree with the rescue you could not yet see. Put your hand on your chest if you can and whisper, "It was mercy." Write it where your eyes cannot avoid it. Let your fingers make a covenant with truth. It was mercy. Go ahead and say it aloud. I was not rejected. I was protected. Agreement is not noise. Agreement is alignment, and when you stop calling rescue rejection, the shame can no longer feed on you in the night. And hear my promise as I set your face forward. The door did not close because you were forgotten. It closed because what is next requires you intact. I am not hiding you from good. I am hiding you for good. I am reserving you for an entrance that will not tax your soul as toll. I am preserving the voice I placed in you, the clarity I forged in quiet, the compassion I have grown in you through long obedience. When you see the right door, it will not demand your peace as payment. It will recognize your name as passport. Until then, rest the questions and receive the mercy. I shut it before it shut you, because your peace, your future, and your calling are not for sale. I saw the moment you whispered, "Maybe it's over for me." I was present in the quiet places where you do not perform. Over the kitchen sink when the suds went still and your eyes burned from more than soap. In the car stall where you parked a block away just to breathe without explaining. In the bathroom where you pressed your palms to the counter and watched a version of yourself hold it together. I saw you smile in public and collapse in private. I watched hope withdraw like a tide you could not command back. You did not tell anyone the exact sentence, but you let it slip from your heart to your mouth, almost apologetically, almost as if you were afraid I would hear. I did hear. I did not flinch. I drew closer. You have lived for a while in a gray zone, the in-between where you still function, still show up, still answer emails and return calls and manage what is on your plate, but your lamp has been burning low. You kept praying while grieving. You kept serving while wondering if it mattered. You lifted your hands, and your hands felt heavier than your arms could explain. You spoke faith with a tremor because you did not want to infect the room with your ache, and you wondered if that tremor disqualified the confession. I tell you now with tenderness and truth, your lowest thoughts were not evidence of failure. They were evidence of pressure. They were the hiss of the air leaving a wound that was not your fault. I saw the quiver behind your ribcage. I counted the tears you refused to let fall. I am close to the brokenhearted. Psalm 34:18. Close means nearer than your breath, nearer than your question, nearer than your self-critique. You mistook my silence for absence, but my silence was not abandonment. It was shelter. When a surgeon enters a room to perform a delicate work, even the nurses lower their voices. I hushed the noise around you to steady your hands, to keep your soul from grabbing the first counterfeit that promised to drown out the ache. I was not far. I was fortifying you. I listened to the sentence you did not finish. I heard you ask, did I miss my chance? Is this how my story settles? I did not respond with thunder because what you needed was not volume, it was nearness. I laid my hand upon the storm inside your chest and held the line while you slept, while you commuted, while you scrolled to distract. I guarded you when you felt unguarded, and when you accused yourself for not being stronger. I whispered your truer name, though you could not yet hear it above the static. There has been a subtle voice trailing you, a cool whisper that sounds like logic but tastes like poison. If you were really called, it would have worked by now. If you had real favor, it wouldn't be this hard. If you were truly anointed, you wouldn't have shut doors. You wouldn't be angry in the morning and numb by night. That voice is not mine. That voice does not correct. It corrodes. I correct to restore. Accusation condemns to immobilize. My conviction targets a behavior to free your heart. The accuser's condemnation targets your name to chain your future. Learn this distinction and let it free you. I never require you to be enough without me. I require you to be with me. The battle has never been about whether you can perform perfectly. It has always been about whether you will let a counterfeit narrator rename you in your own story. You have been under pressure, not under a verdict. Pressure explains the ache. A verdict would have removed the breath, that thin space you have occupied, the one where you keep going but joy leaks, has not been your permanent address. It has been the place where I ensured your flame, though small, did not go out. You were not weak for whispering, maybe it's over. You were honest in the middle of a squeeze that did not come only from time, but from a resistance that resents your light, your potential to break patterns, your future fruit. You are walking through an invisible battlefield. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to how fiercely I have guarded you while you kept moving through fog you did not cause. I saw the sacrifice no one applauded, the day you showed up to encourage someone else when your own hope was flickering, the late-night budgeting when embarrassment sat beside you like a second chair, the way you still opened my word when it felt like dry paper in your weary hands. I registered each of these as worship. What felt to you like survival was to me a seed, small, costly, living. The sigh you thought was wasted was a prayer I translated. The tear you blinked away rather than let it fall was a river I counted. You have not been unseen. You have been held. Hear me now as I uncover the strategy that has stalked your thoughts. The enemy did not only contend against the opportunity, it aimed to brand you with a label so you would stop reaching. If the door could not be stolen, the plan was to convince you that you no longer deserved to knock. If favor could not be diverted, the plan was to make you allergic to hope by associating it with humiliation. So the whispers came like stamps pressed against your mind. Too late, unreliable, behind, unqualified, unstable, inconsistent, needy. marks that do not come from me. They slide on as if they are your own conclusions, but they are not conclusions, they are chains. And chains always disguise themselves as wisdom when they are really fear in formal wear. I am not indifferent to how tight those labels have felt. I do not mock your fatigue. I honor the courage it took to keep even a single thread of expectation alive, while you handled real responsibilities with a body that felt heavy. I stood beside you when the night tried to convince you to end the assignment early, to rewrite your dreams into something easier, smaller, safer to other people's insecurity. I sent strength when you could not name it, just enough to do the next faithful thing, to answer one more message with kindness, to smile at a child, to forgive one more time, to sow a small gift, to whisper Jesus as you fell asleep. Angels have ministered to the weary before. They have ministered to you. Luke 22:43. So breathe with me again. Put your hand on your heart if you can, and let this sentence become louder than the hiss that has haunted you. It is not over for me. My God was not absent in the silence. Write it where shame has been writing its script. Silence was not absence. Pressure is not a verdict. Hope is rising not by adrenaline but by truth. Let your fingers agree with faith. Let them make a covenant with clarity. I am not disqualified. I am being defended. And now, because I love you, I will take you by the hand into the next revelation. The door was resisted not only by circumstances but by a name battle. The label was the lock. What they called you in weary seasons tried to become your definition, and I am about to tear it off and return to you the sound of your true name. Stay with me. Do not step back into the gray. What I am about to speak will expose the counterfeit stamp and restore the seal I set on you from the beginning. Now is the time. No more delay. My child, listen closely. Your name is not decoration. It is a key. Identity is how heaven recognizes you and how hell tries to confuse you. When you agree with the name I gave you, the lock turns and doors that resisted begin to yield. When you wear labels that do not come from me, you unknowingly feed the mechanism that keeps you outside. You align your hand with the very bolt you are asking me to open. I am not condemning you. I am unveiling the technology of the heart. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. The battle over your door has been a battle over your name. Hear me and let each word rinse shame from your thoughts. The labels that have stalked you are many and loud. Too late, not chosen, always broke, unreliable, unworthy, second option, needy, inconsistent, behind, high maintenance, difficult, replaceable. These do not come from me. They have floated like advertisements across your inner screen until you clicked them by exhaustion and they downloaded like programs. They promised self-awareness, but they installed self-sabotage. They claimed objectivity, but they coded accusation into your reflexes. I am erasing their access. I am uninstalling what never belonged. Your name, the identity you carry, is either opening the way for miracles or unconsciously locking shut the very door you have been praying about. So today I confront the counterfeit and restore the original. You are not defined by a season that stretched you, by a mistake that still embarrasses you, by an application that went unanswered, by a conversation that ended in awkward silence, by a bank account that could not agree with your budget, by the way they introduced you to their friends as an afterthought, by the one who did not choose you. You are defined by what I spoke over you before your first breath. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. To all who received him, he gave the right to become children of God. John 1:12. You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood. 1 Peter 2:9. Let my word be your mirror. Refuse to let a moment be your map. A storm does not rename a shoreline, it only wets the sand. Seasons pass. My verdict over you stands. When you believe you are forgotten, you chase crumbs. You over-explain yourself to people who have not earned access to your heart. You sign contracts that respect your talent but tax your soul. You perform for rooms that clap for your usefulness but not for your essence. You stay in conversations that constantly require you to prove what I already settled. You scroll to numb the ache and then call the numbness peace. But when you know you are loved, you can wait for alignment. You can say no without fear of famine. You can hold your dignity when an invitation flatters but misaligns. You can leave an email unanswered until your discernment says now, not your insecurity saying hurry. You can trust that a closed door is not an insult, it is instruction. This is not theory, this is the mechanics of wisdom. Identity shapes discernment because how you see yourself sets the price you believe you must pay for favor. I am restoring the sound of your name inside you. The echo of accusation has rehearsed itself until it felt native, but it is an accent picked up in a foreign land. I am returning you to your mother tongue. I am writing again upon the tablet of your heart what I wrote long ago in my book about you. You shall be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will bestow. Isaiah 62:2. New does not mean invented today, it means revealed again, polished where it was scratched by long weather. Your name in me is not second. Your name is not if only. Your name is not almost. Your name is not always broke. Your name is not too much. Your name is not enough. I call you chosen. I call you steadfast. I call you builder. I call you faithful. I call you wise steward. I call you beloved. I call you mine. Watch how this operates in the practical. When second option sits on your shoulder, you tolerate negotiations that insult your calling. You accept a rate that empties your time and mocks your value. You text first because you fear being forgotten, not because you are led to serve. You show up to rooms that drain you because you believe scarcity is your master. But when beloved governs your inner government, you make decisions from fullness. You decline the meeting that disguises control as collaboration. You wait for the door that opens with peace as escort, not anxiety as bodyguard. You do not throw yourself at platforms, you build altars and watch me elevate at the appointed time. The fruit will be tangible, clarified schedules, cleaner contracts, fewer apologies for existing, more laughter at home, rest that is not guilty. Peace will be the bell sound telling you truth is walking near. I am not merely editing your bio, I am amending records in the unseen. The courts that accused you by label are losing their leverage. Where your file once had stamped across it, unreliable, I am placing a radiant decree, established. Where it said, always broke, I am writing, provider's portion assigned. Where it read, not chosen, I sign, elected by grace. Hear the gavel of mercy in my hand. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. Isaiah 54:17. You are authorized to answer back, not with panic, but with my word. Let your mouth stop feeding the lock. Let your agreement turn the key. Do this with me now. Put your hand on your heart and let your own voice be a tool in my hand. I renounce the name too late. I receive the name on time. I renounce the name second option. I receive the name chosen. I renounce always broke. I receive well supplied. I renounce unreliable. I receive faithful and established. Speak it. Write it where your eyes cannot avoid it. Let your fingers make covenant with clarity. When you open your mouth and say, I believe what you have said about me, you are raising a new altar and the old inscriptions begin to fade. Do not resist this because it feels too simple. Faith that is never expressed is like a seed never sown. I am not asking you to pretend. I am asking you to agree. Agreement is not denial of pain. It is defiance of lies. When you agree with me, you allow heaven's language to retrain your reflexes, and the next time a counterfeit door knocks, you will recognize the price tag and smile as you keep your peace. Delay stops feeling like insult and becomes what it has always been, alignment. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. Now is the time. No more delay in renaming. And hear this as I usher you to the next layer. Not every label attached to you was born in your own story. Some of what tried to name you has history. There are patterns that attempted to settle on your family line. Start and stop, near miss, smallness masquerading as humility, provision that evaporates just as doors appear, relationships that spark without covenant, opportunities that always seem to come almost. Voices from generations past have whispered through culture, through fear, through vows made in pain, forming boundaries around blessing. The resistance you faced was not proof you were denied. It was proof you were positioned to break a pattern. We will go there together. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to the scope of your assignment. For now, hold this firm. The door was not only blocked by circumstances, it was resisted through identity. And your true name, the one I gave you, is being restored. My child, now I take your hand into the archive you did not know was shaping the hallway you walked. What followed you was not random. The stutter at the edge of breakthrough. The wallet that seemed to spring a leak the moment you planned a future. The favor that flirted and then delayed. The relationship that circled the same mountain with new faces. The confidence that eroded precisely at the threshold where joy should have crescendoed. These were not scattered misfortunes. They were a pattern, and patterns have a history. Listen to me with courage. You are walking through an invisible battlefield, and one front of that battle has been fought in the records, agreements whispered in pain by those before you, survival scripts written when hope was scarce, vows spoken to stay small so as not to attract loss, invisible locks attached to a bloodline, residue clinging to your steps, old labels masquerading as wisdom. We don't ask for much. We keep our head down. We take what is given. We never finish. We're not the type that gets chosen. These are not humble. They are heavy. They tried to govern outcomes by predetermining how far you would reach. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to your assignment and your authority. Look back with my eyes and you will see the sequence. When you were closest to promotion, an inexplicable fatigue siphoned your boldness. Your emails softened themselves. Your requests shrank to sound palatable. When resources finally gathered, expenses rose like a tide as if on cue. When genuine connection appeared, an old script activated, either chasing from fear of loss or freezing from fear of being seen, and the moment dissolved into déjà vu. When new doors cracked, voices, some external, some internal, echoed the familiar. Don't get your hopes up. People like us don't get that. Be grateful for scraps. And the lock turned another quarter turn, not because you were weak, but because history tried to write itself again through you. But hear heaven's counter-record. You are not the repetition, you are the interruption. The resistance you faced was not proof you were denied. It was proof you were positioned to break a pattern. Darkness has been comfortable with how your family learns to expect little and endure much. Your progress threatens that comfort, your yes to healing, your insistence on peace, your refusal to sell your soul for speed, your hunger to steward rather than merely sample. These are sirens to hell and songs to heaven. You are the cycle breaker I am strengthening. Understand the mechanics. Patterns persist because agreements persist. Where someone once said, I will never trust again, a door to covenant closes. Where a father said, Money leaves as soon as it arrives. A magnet is placed under the table that slides coins to the edge. Where a mother vowed, "It is safer not to dream big," ceilings were lowered and children learned to stoop. But Christ has redeemed you from every curse. Galatians 3:13. Do you hear it? Every curse. Meaning the locks applied to your name are not permanent, and the record can be overturned. The handwriting of ordinances that was against you, I have taken it out of the way, nailing it to the cross. Colossians 2:14. What was written can be rewritten by my blood. So I am convening court over your door. I am summoning the old files that claimed jurisdiction over your outcomes, and I am entering into evidence the covenant of my Son. Where there has been a ledger of lack, I place the ledger of grace. Where your bloodline embraced silence to survive, I release the verdict of voice and truth. Where fear contracted your world, I sign expansion by wisdom. I tell you again, I am not exposing this to shame you or your family. I am honoring you with the authority to end what others endured. I am rescuing an entire family line through your obedience, rewriting the history of all those who carry that same family name. Blessing to 1,000 generations is larger than the residue of a few. Exodus 26. Watch how the pattern breaks practically. Where near breakthrough always collapsed, you will now notice stamina where panic used to live. When funds arrive, you will assign every dollar an assignment before it evaporates. Savings, seed, generosity, margin, because wisdom will sit at your table with you. When favor knocks, you will not sabotage it with apologies, you will welcome it with boundaries. When relationships germinate, you will not repeat scripts of chasing or ghosting. You will communicate from identity, not insecurity. Peace will be the new default. The reopened door will not demand your soul as toll. It will agree with your name. But we must close certain sentences. Let us lay an axe to the root of inherited vows. Under your breath, even now, begin to renounce what does not come from me. Say, I break agreement with we never finish. I end partnership with we always struggle. I refuse the phrase, people like us don't get chosen. I cancel the family superstition that calls flourishing showing off. I receive a new legacy. We build, we finish, we are well supplied, we are trusted, we are faithful and established. Let your fingers write this later where your eyes cannot avoid it. Not as hype, but as a legal notice to the unseen. The old contract is void. I am giving you new scripts, not the frantic optimism of denial, but the sober declarations of the redeemed. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. He teaches my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Psalm 144:1. War against waste. Fight for focus. I will lend and not borrow. Deuteronomy 28:12. Not to boast, but to bless. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Psalm 27:13. Not just in theory, but in timelines and contracts and calendars and covenant friendships. I tell you, when you open your mouth and agree, you stop feeding the lock and start turning the key. Do you notice the mercy in your delay now? What you called lateness was training. I was building muscle memory where your ancestors had only survival memory. I was stretching your capacity to say no without fear, to say yes without appeasement, to save without scarcity gripping your throat, to give without guilt dictating your generosity. I was laying the foundation before I build the house. What I open now will not collapse, because the ground has been compacted by truth. The same place that was fought the hardest, money management, relational safety, steady confidence, will become the place you steward with ease, because you will no longer host the old narrator. And hear my decree as a banner over this house: goodness and mercy shall follow you. Psalm 23:6. What followed you before was residue. What will follow you now is resource. The shadow that used to arrive at the edge of joy will be replaced by the substance of peace. The verdict that once hovered over every application will be replaced by the stamp at the appointed time. Your name is being cleared in the unseen. Your lineage is being blessed in the present. Do not confuse the rattle of old chains falling with a call to return to them. Keep walking. The resistance you felt was the groan of a breaking yoke. The pattern has a history, but it does not have the final word. I do. And I call you breaker, builder, beloved, and blessed. Now is the time. No more delay in ending this cycle. My child, listen and let the ache unclench. Delay was alignment. Do not call what I used as shield a sign of neglect. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. When the wind finally lifts you, you will not wobble like one rescued last minute. You will rise as one readied in secret. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to the precision of my love. What you felt as pause was a surgeon's hand, steady, intentional, protective. I was forming things in you that blessing requires. I was teaching you patience with power so influence would not make you impatient with people. I was marrying discernment with opportunity so you would stop calling every open room favor and begin to ask if the room deserved your presence. I was joining boundaries with blessing so increase would not invite invasion. I was clothing humility with influence so you could climb without losing the ground of your soul. I trained your no to be worship, not fear. I trained your yes to be covenant, not appeasement. I trained your hands to war and your fingers to fight. Psalm 144:1. War against waste, fight for focus. I refined your appetite until you could taste the difference between rush and release, between hype and holy timing. Remember the moments you thought were small. When you drafted the angry reply and did not send it, you thought you were avoiding drama. I was building restraint that can carry authority. When you saved first and spent last, you thought you were surviving. I was establishing a treasury that favor can trust. When you rested though guilt hissed that rest meant laziness, you thought you were catching breath. I was proving that your worth does not ride on endless motion. When you walked away from a shiny shortcut that bent your convictions, you thought you were missing out. I was sealing your integrity so that the weight of what is coming will not crack you. Endurance was grown one quiet choice at a time. You have need of endurance so that after you have done the will of God, you may receive the promise. Hebrews 10:36. Hear why this matters. If I had reopened too soon, you would have walked back in with the old hunger that mistakes access for identity, and the room would have devoured your peace. You would have negotiated away your boundaries to keep applause, spent to soothe, given to be seen, signed to be safe. The door would have become a drain. The platform would have been a cliff. The opportunity would have held out its hand while picking your pockets for dignity. I love you too much to feed you to a season you were not yet shaped to steward. Unless the Lord builds the house, the laborers labor in vain. Psalm 127:1. I laid the foundation before I built the house. What you wanted quickly, I prepared carefully. Consider the foundation. It goes down before anything rises up. It is measured with a plumb line. It is poured and left to cure while nothing appears to change. It is reinforced with steel you will never see again once the floors are laid. It feels like nothing is happening because the work is underground. But foundations do not flex to the weather. They defy it. I was compacting truth beneath your feet. I was aligning your inner frame to carry weight without cracking. Walls can go up in days. Footings are not rushed. What I am giving you needs weight-bearing peace, not decorative optimism. Quick builds look good in photographs and fall in storms. Careful builds host generations. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. Wings are not paper. They are bone and feather and flight memory. I reshaped yours. In the waiting, I rewrote your reflexes. You no longer answer every ring. You ask, "Is this mine?" You do not say yes from fear of famine. You say yes from witness and purpose. You do not post to prove. You build quietly and let fruit speak. You do not measure success by how fast the hallway fills. You measure it by whether your home can still laugh without flinching. You pray before you price. You ask me before you accept. You honor your body as stewardship, not as obstacle. You have learned to assign every dollar an assignment, to give with joy, to save with clarity, to spend with purpose, to sow as strategy. This is capacity. This is alignment. This is what it means to be trusted with more. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. I required preparation because I planned to give much. Do not despise how long it seemed to take. Concrete cures slowly. Character, too. I guarded you from counterfeit timelines that stoke anxiety and call it ambition. I let certain people misread you so you would stop living off their read. I let certain smaller doors close so you would stop fitting yourself into rooms that would resent your growth later. I made you practice Sabbath while responsibilities were loud, so you would know how to rest inside of movement when movement returns. I widened your inner margins, so surprise would not become threat. I tuned your ear to the sound of peace, so no seductive urgency can dress itself as opportunity and kidnap you. Now hear me with holy urgency. You are not the same person who stood outside that closed door. That difference is not cosmetic, it is structural. The lock has been feeding on your old agreements, but the one who waits with me is not the one who begged at that threshold. You carry patience with power, discernment with opportunity, boundaries with blessing, humility with influence. The key is not in your hand alone, it is in your name, the name I have been restoring in you. When I reopen, you will not sprint to prove, you will step to steward. You will recognize the door by peace, not by pressure. You will bring silence with you into noisy rooms, and the room will settle because I walk in with you. Say this with me now and let it settle like weight in the foundation I have poured. The waiting was not wasted. Delay was alignment. My wings have been reshaped. My house has been founded on rock. I will not trade my peace to hurry my promise. Write it where your eyes can see it. Let your fingers agree. I am ready to carry what is coming because wisdom is sitting in my bones. I tell you again, not as hype, but as decree. Now is the time. No more delay in understanding why you waited. The alignment has done its work, and you will see how capacity becomes access, how the careful build becomes an open door that does not collapse under joy. Even now I am setting the clock of your life to appointed time. Isaiah 60:22. Do not run wild, walk with me. You will feel a quiet inevitability rise, and you will know, without adrenaline, that what I closed to protect, I am about to reopen to bless. And because you let me form you, the blessing will not break you. My child, listen now as I open to you what your eyes could not see, but your spirit has felt in every inexplicable stall. The court has been in session concerning your door, and the bench has rendered a new decision. There have been files with your name on them, accusations annotated, delays stamped, claims lodged by voices that do not carry covenant with you, records that tried to dictate the terms of your access. You felt it each time a simple process tangled, each time clarity blurred at the threshold, each time a yes became a not yet without reason. You were not imagining it. You were walking through an invisible bureaucracy, and today I announce to you with authority and tenderness, the unseen court has shifted. The verdict is changing over your door. I have reviewed what was written against you. I have summoned the ledgers, the notes, the evidence that tried to paint you as unworthy, unready, unreliable. I read the minutes that repeated your past as prophecy and used your fatigue as testimony. I objected. My blood overruled. The handwriting of ordinances that was against you, I have taken it out of the way, nailing it to the cross. Colossians 2:14. Where adversaries brought up labels to lock you out, I entered into record your true name. Where they presented pattern as prison, I presented redemption as precedent. Judgment has been given in favor of the saints. Daniel 7:22. Hear the sound in your spirit, the gavel of mercy, the dismissal of fraudulent claims, the seal pressed into warm wax bearing my emblem, case adjudicated, access authorized. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you, so that when movement begins, you do not call it coincidence and return to old caution out of habit. Understand the administration of heaven. I am the Lord, your judge, your lawgiver, your king. Isaiah 33:22. I open and no one can shut. I shut and no one can open. Revelation 3:7. The door that resisted you did not move because you were weak. It resisted because of a contest in the records. But now those records have been amended. Claims of prior ownership over your peace are canceled. Liens placed on your future by fear are lifted. The adversarial memo that said, delay by default, has been torn and replaced by a radiant decree. On it, your name engraved, proceed at appointed time. You will feel this verdict in real life. Processes that sat stale will stir. The email thread you thought died will reignite without your chasing. Stalled approvals will find their way to the top of stacks. Back pay and forgotten credits will surface. A hold mysteriously placed on what is yours will be released. A document lost in the system will arrive with apology. Policy language that excluded you will be interpreted in your favor. Applications will receive revised answers. The manager you could not reach will suddenly have room on the calendar. The client that ghosted will return with softened tone and clearer terms. Old contacts will resurface not to lure you backwards, but because my angels have moved through the corridors where records live and whispered to memory what bore your name. Expect unexpected favor, not as fluke, but as execution of an order. I am dispatching messengers into systems, banks, HR platforms, government registries, legal dockets, inbox algorithms. Dust-covered folders are being pulled, signatures are being retrieved from beneath piles, and your file is being stamped move. Peace will be your witness that it is me. Not frantic, not manipulative, not the rush that makes you forsake your own counsel, but a steady inner bell. When the call comes, you will not feel the old compulsion to scramble. You will feel authority to choose. When the offer arrives, you will not bend your boundaries to be lovable. You will measure terms against the name I restored in you. When the apology appears, you will not drink it like water in a desert. You will receive it without selling your future to keep it. Do not mislabel calm as compromise. This is what authorized movement feels like. The wind that once shoved will guide. The door will not demand your soul as toll. It will agree with who you are. Understand how I have handled the adversary's paperwork, where the claim read, they owe us fear, I have stamped, debt paid. Where it read, they forfeited by failure, I have written, record expunged. Where it proposed, extend delay, insufficient character, I submitted evidence. Your choices in secret, your restraint in offense, your refusals when shortcuts sparkled. I have called witnesses, mercy, truth, endurance, and they have testified on your behalf. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is your heritage. Isaiah 54:17. Hear me, heritage. This is not a lucky break. This is covenant inheritance enacted through decree. Now is the time. No more delay in recognizing the change of season. What I authorize does not require you to grovel. It requires you to agree. Stop requesting permission from rooms I have already compelled to make space. Stop over-explaining what I have justified. Speak with the brevity of one who knows the decision has been entered. Bring your prepared wisdom, your formed boundaries, your paced heart. Walk to the threshold and let peace be your escort. If they ask you why now, say, because the Lord has said so. If they ask you to prove your worth, decline the premise. Your worth is not on trial. Your work may be reviewed, your terms may be negotiated, but your dignity is settled law. As this verdict finds the earth, I will also give you micro-signs to strengthen your discernment, because I am not interested in volume without wisdom. Expect clarity where fog used to form, sudden sentences in your spirit that make crooked paths look straight, scriptures that leap alive as if highlighted by a hand, counsel that aligns with peace instead of ego. Expect to wake knowing which 2 tasks matter and which 7 are noise. Expect to feel a holy resistance when an old manipulative rhythm tries to reassert itself. This too is the court's decision executed, confusion restrained, counsel released. Psalm 32:8. If you wish, let your fingers write this even now as agreement, not as performance but as participation. The verdict has shifted in my favor. Heaven has authorized what earth resisted. I will not beg for what is already written. I will walk in agreement. Let your mouth say, now is the time. No more delay. When you open your mouth and speak what I speak, you do not conjure outcomes. You cooperate with them. Declarations are not tricks. They are alignment. And alignment is how decrees travel from paper to practice. Do not be surprised if some old doors wobble as if to call you back. They will creak louder for a moment as expired leases do when eviction is served. Do not reapply to be tolerated where you are called to be trusted. Do not exchange the fresh terms I am bringing for the stale familiarity of what once was. The verdict concerns the door I am reopening, not the one I closed to protect you. I will make this distinction plain. One will require you to empty yourself to fit. The other will expand around the person you have become. Choose peace. Follow the decree. My child, lift your head. What was contested in the unseen is being resolved, and the door is moving because heaven is authorizing what earth resisted. Walk with me not in frenzy but in firmness. You will find that where you once begged for entrance, doors now recognize your name, hinges ease and thresholds bless. This is not hype, this is holy administration. Receive it, step into it, and let the same peace that led you through waiting lead you through opening. My child, hear me and let the breath you have been holding finally return to you. You will recognize the door I reopen by peace, not by pressure, not by the old adrenaline that made your hands shake as you agreed to terms that quietly stole your rest. The door that devoured your joy pulled you with panic and flattery, with countdowns, and only if you answer now ultimatums, with a hum in your chest that would not let you sleep. The new opening will not come dressed in that anxiety. It will arrive with steadiness. It will carry clarity. It will feel like a key fitting, the click, the ease, the sense that the room was made to hold the person you have become. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. When I say rule, I mean govern the go. Peace will be your green light. Panic will never again be your shepherd. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Counterfeit urgency will try one more time to parade as favor. Old offers will reappear with new polish. A voice will whisper, if you do not say yes this second, you will miss everything, because the spirit of fear is addicted to now or never. But I am not in the stampede. I am the one who spreads a table in the presence of pressure and says, eat first, then decide. Psalm 23:5. Where peace reigns, there is time to read, to pray, to counsel, to sleep on it and hear me in the morning. Where panic reigns, there is rushing, confusion, loopholes, and later, regret. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. When you feel shoved, step back. When you feel invited, step close. You are not driven anymore. You are led. Psalm 23:2. So let us make it practical and holy at once. Test the door with the questions we have carved into your bones in the waiting. First, the people. Consider character before charisma. How do they treat the least powerful in the room? Do they honor boundaries without punishing honesty? Is their yes reliable or theatrical? Wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruit. James 3:17. If you have to explain away cruelty to make the opportunity make sense, it is not your door. Second, the time. Measure the cost to your rhythms. Does this path make Sabbath impossible? Does it sever you from the table where your family laughs? Does it devour the margins we built for sleep, prayer, and thinking? My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Matthew 11:30. Light does not mean lazy, it means fitted. If it scrapes your soul at every step, it is not fitted to you. Third, the fruit in your spirit. After the meeting, do you feel small, frantic and ashamed, or steady, clear and strengthened? The Spirit's fruit does not glitch. Galatians 5:22. If the aftertaste is dread, believe the data. Fourth, the word I have spoken over you. Does it align with the name I restored, the terms I gave, the boundaries we set? I do not contradict myself to impress a room. If the door demands you to mute your identity or mortgage your convictions, decline politely. I am not inside that contract. Do you hear me about access? You are not reopening with the same access you gave before. There are rooms you will serve without surrendering your core. There are roles you will accept without accepting abuse. There are clients you will bless without letting them invade your nights. You will say yes with clauses that protect your peace. Hours defined, compensation clear, communication channels honored, rest days respected. You will not negotiate with what dishonors you. You will not edit your no into a maybe because someone pouts. You will no longer accept dishonor as the price of destiny. Guard your heart, for from it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Your heart is not a lobby open to any demand. It is a sanctuary where I dwell. Boundaries are not walls of fear, they are doors of wisdom. You set them to keep treasure safe and love sustainable. I authorize you to take time. You may say, I will review and respond tomorrow. You may say, I need to see that in writing. You may say, I cannot do those hours without composing an essay to justify your humanity. If at that sentence respect leaves the room, then favor was not actually present. If they punish your clarity, you have learned everything you need to know. You do not rush to prove you are grateful. Gratitude does not require groveling. And remember the sign I taught you. When peace lifts, pause. If your gut tightens and your mind spins, if sleep departs and your prayer life shrinks to muttering anxiety, place the pen down. Walk around the block. Ask me for witness. I will either restore peace and refine terms, or I will preserve your peace by closing the door you were about to force. Either way, peace protects you. In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Hear also what I will do as you honor peace. I will send you confirmations that do not demand performance to maintain them. You will see that the right door honors the pace we practiced. They will respect when you ask for a day. They will not make your boundary a bargaining chip. The contract will not hide traps in dense paragraphs you are forbidden to discuss. The team will not build culture out of chaos and call it high standards. You will feel your lungs expand when you imagine showing up there. Your laughter will not decrease to pay the rent for that room. Your giving will not dry up to secure your seat. Your sleep will not shrink to be seen. You will not need to disappear to belong. This is how peace leads you beside still waters, even while momentum increases. Psalm 23:2. Movement without mayhem. That is my signature on an opening. If an old door returns cloaked in second chance language, but asks for your soul at the threshold, release it with blessing and keep your oil. You are not bitter, you are boundaried. You are not fearful, you are wise. The enemy will try nostalgia as a negotiation tactic. But remember the good times? Just bend here and we can have them again. Do not trade the present clarity for a memory. Do not downplay the cost you once paid to be tolerated. Peace will not ask you to bleed for belonging this time. It will call you to build with those who see you rightly. If you wish, let your fingers write this where your eyes will find it tomorrow morning. Peace is my confirmation. Panic is not my shepherd. I refuse to sell my boundaries to buy access. My yes will agree with who I am. Let your mouth softly say it even now, and feel how your shoulders lower as the truth sits. I will not be ensnared by hurry. I will be escorted by peace. When you agree with me, the counterfeit loses power, and the real is strengthened. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Proverbs 3:17. Now lift your face. Anticipate without bracing. Because you choose peace, you position yourself to step through the right door when it opens, without fear of losing yourself on the other side. You will cross the threshold and still recognize your own voice. You will increase and still sleep. You will be seen and still be safe. The door I reopen will not enslave you. It will align you. It will not demand your soul. It will agree with your name. And when you stand in that room, you will know, not by the noise of applause, but by the quiet in your chest, that you are exactly where I have appointed you to be. Now is the time. No more delay in letting peace lead. My child, hear me. When this door reopens, you will not enter with your shoulders rounded and your words pre-apologized, begging for a corner to exist in. You will enter as one recognized, one prepared, one whose name has been cleared. You will not pace the lobby waiting for permission to believe in what I have already authored. You will stand in the authority of belonging. Your spirit will not negotiate against your own worth to keep access. Your spirit will recognize that access came because your worth is not on trial. This is a change in posture, subtle to the eye, seismic in the spirit. Lift your head. Breathe differently. The door is not a gamble. It is a reissued invitation, and your peace is the stamped RSVP. These are the new terms. Favor will no longer arrive as a rush that burns you out. It will arrive braided with wisdom. Blessing will not be a wave that knocks you to the floor. It will be a river that runs within banks. You have sat with me. Opportunity will not yank you from Sabbath. It will respect the rest you honor. Increase will not erase your face. It will amplify your voice without muting your soul. I am not giving you noise. I am giving you notes and a tempo. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Under the new terms, you will move at the speed of obedience, not at the speed of anxiety. Discernment is part of the contract. You will know which calls to answer and which to return with a boundary. You will know when urgent is only loud and when it is truly time-sensitive. You will bless without being bled, give without collapsing, say yes without signing your peace away, say no without self-hate. Your calendar will become a covenant tool, space for building, space for rest, space for joy, space for quiet, space to hear me. Your budget will be a liturgy, provision assigned to purpose, generosity planted with intention, savings respected as strategy, spending practiced with peace. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Guarding is not hoarding, it is stewardship. Your boundaries will not make you less loving, they will make your love durable. You will not answer texts at midnight that train others to treat you like an always open store. You will answer at a time that honors both them and you. You will not accept terms that fuzz your role so your gift can be used without your person being honored. You will ask for clarity and work within it. You will not carry secret costs to make others comfortable. You will speak with kindness and let truth relieve your shoulders. Where once you performed to keep rooms calm, you will now practice truth to keep your soul whole. Under these new terms, watch for outcomes that reflect my hand without flooding your nervous system. Conversations once frozen will thaw without you begging. An email that had grown cold will warm and propose a next step. A manager who could not find your file will surface it and request a brief call. A colleague will circle back with a revised agreement that respects your time. A friend will ask for coffee with humility instead of old control. A door that told you, "We went another direction," will reach out again because their chosen path closed and they can finally hear your voice. None of this will demand you to contort. You will not sell tomorrow for today. Approvals will come with clarity, offers with timelines you can bless, reconciliations with fruit worthy of trust. I am not promising you a world without friction. I am promising you a way to stand inside favor without breaking under it. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. I am not only giving you access, I am teaching you to keep what I give. This is the wisdom of stewardship. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. Requirement is not punishment. It is structure to ensure that joy does not leak. I am training your eyes to spot slow drains, unspoken expectations, vague roles, unclear compensation, ministry done from emptiness, leadership with no Sabbath. You will begin to ask before you agree, to price with prayer, to schedule with margins, to anchor commitments in what you and I have decided in quiet. You will revisit contracts with courage and kindness. You will make amendments where necessary. You will bless goodbyes that keep you intact. I am teaching you to check your peace before you check your calendar, to confirm your assignment before you count the applause, to weigh opportunities against purpose rather than panic. Do not be offended that I am talking to you like a builder. You are one. Builders must understand load-bearing and lifespan. I have set angels to open the records, but I have set wisdom to open the rhythms. Under the new terms, rest is not optional, counsel is not weakness, planning is not unbelief, and joy is not procrastination. Joy will be part of your strength regimen. Laughter will plow the ground of your heart, where fear packed it down. Meals at your table will be as much ministry as meetings on your calendar. In this season, your home will preach peace to every room you enter afterward. And now, because the court has ruled and the terms are laid, your agreement must align with my voice, not with your historical fear. Your mouth has power, life and death are in its tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Stop narrating yourself as the underdog begging for a chance. Begin speaking as the steward trusted with a charge. Stop rehearsing, it always slips away. Start declaring, What I carry, I keep through wisdom. Stop predicting collapse to soften disappointment. Start prophesying endurance to host fulfillment. Let your everyday sentences match the covenant. I move with peace. I choose clear terms. I am trusted with more because I honor what I have. These are not positive platitudes, they are keys cut to the new lock. If you wish, let your fingers write a line now to mark the shift. Not for performance, but participation. Favor arrives braided with wisdom. Blessing rests within boundaries. I keep what God entrusts because I move by peace. Let your breath agree. Let your pace agree. Let your calendar, your budget, your bedtime, your reply times, your meeting agendas, your stewardship practices agree. When the door opens, walk, do not lunge. Receive, do not grasp. Decide, do not drift. And know this, the door is better because you are wiser, and the blessing will not break you because peace is now part of the terms. I have set these conditions for your protection and your joy. Now is the time. No more delay in living by the new terms. My child, now let us turn peace into a key. Agreement is not passive, it is participation. Your mouth is a hinge. When you speak what I speak, you stop feeding the lock and you start turning the key. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to a law that governs movement in my kingdom. With the heart one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Romans 10:10. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Angels listen for my word to perform it. Psalm 103:20. The verdict has shifted. Now let your vocabulary shift, so your speech history does not drag your future back into yesterday's hallway. Hear me. Declarations are not hype. They are alignment. They do not twist my arm. They untwist yours. They do not bribe heaven. They break inner contracts with fear. Every time you whispered, I always mess this up, you signed a quiet lease on rooms built by shame. Each time you muttered, it's too late, you paid rent to despair. When you sighed, I can't, you loaned your voice to the accuser who wants your name to starve. Those words have been pretending to be realism. They are, in truth, agreements. And agreements either lock or loose. Today, in my presence, we cancel the phrases that kept you tethered and install the language of promise that carries you through the opening. Now say this after me, not as performance but as participation, not to conjure but to cooperate. Speak it softly if you must, but let it be audible so your own ears serve as witnesses. I did not miss it. I am not forgotten. I am being aligned. The right door is opening at the right time. Peace is my confirmation. Panic is not my shepherd. Delay was protection. Waiting built my wings. My name is restored. My identity unlocks my portion. What was closed to save me will open to bless me. I will not trade boundaries for access. I will steward with wisdom. The verdict has shifted in my favor. Authorized movement is at hand. I am not driven by fear. I am led by peace. Now is the time. No more delay. Let your lungs feel that. There is authority in it because it agrees with what I have spoken. You are not pretending. You are aligning. And as you align, I rewrite your reflexes. Replace the words that once ruled your afternoons. Where your mouth learned to say, always. Replace it with often until now. Now it is different. Where it said, never, replace it with in due season. Galatians 6:9. Where it said, I can't, replace it with I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Where it said, it's too late, replace it with He makes all things beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Where it said, I don't deserve, replace it with He crowns me with loving kindness and tender mercies. Psalm 103:4. Where it said, doors hate me, replace it with He opens for me a door no one can shut. Revelation 3:8. This is not denial, it is deliverance from the grammar of grief. I am asking for your voice because I have already given you mine. When you open your mouth and say, I believe the Lord, you are raising a new altar over the places where you once muttered despair. When you keep silent, fear continues its monologue. But when you speak, you interrupt the broadcast. Do not wait to feel brave before you declare. Declare and courage will come. Faith without expression calcifies, James 2:17. Faith with expression plants. Words are seeds. Plant them in the field of your day and watch how the ground begins to respond. Make it tangible. If you are able, let your fingers write one clear declaration where others can see it, not as theater but as seal. In the comments on your journal page, on a sticky note by your door, write, Peace is my confirmation, and at the appointed time the right door opens for me, or my name is restored, I will steward blessing with wisdom, or now is the time, no more delay. Go ahead and like this word as a sign that you agree, not for me, for your own soul to mark the moment. Then share it with one person who needs rescue from panic. When you share my word, you become a channel. You give someone else a vocabulary that frees them from inner contracts. What I am doing in you is never only for you. I am rescuing an entire family line through one obedient mouth. Your children, your friends, your community will learn the sound of authorized peace because you spoke it first. Let me coach you for the next 7 days. Morning, before your phone speaks, let your mouth say, I did not miss it. I am not forgotten. I am being aligned. The right door is opening at the appointed time. Midday, when a task resists you, whisper, He teaches my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Psalm 144:1. Then, I do not push doors, I walk with peace. Evening, over your rest declare, In quietness and trust is my strength. I sleep in peace, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Isaiah 30:15, Psalm 4:8. If panic tries to rise, do not argue with it, replace it. Heaven does not argue with hell. Heaven announces truth and earth yields. Guard your speech at the threshold. When the email arrives, resist the reflex to say, This is probably another almost. That sentence is a locksmith for disappointment. Instead, say, I will test this by peace. The Lord orders my steps. Psalm 37:23. When an old door clatters with noise, do not bless it with your breath. Do not rehearse its cost. Say, that is no longer my portion, and turn. Your declarations are not fragile wishes. They are the rails on which heaven's verdict runs into your Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now lift your face. Let's speak together one more time, with weight, like people who believe the court has ruled and peace is king. I agree with God. My future is not late, it is on time. My mouth turns the key, I speak life at my threshold. I renounce always, never, I can't, and it's too late. I receive truth, I am planted, prepared, and trusted. My door will not demand my soul, it will agree with my name. I will steward favor with wisdom, blessing with boundaries, increase with rest. Angels heed the word of the Lord concerning me. Systems align in my favor. Now is the time. No more delay. Seal it. Write one line below to mark your agreement. Then send this word to 2 people who need their language baptized in hope, not for numbers, for obedience. I am building a people who do not surrender their futures with their tongues. As you speak what I speak, the lock stops eating your confidence, and the key begins to turn. Peace will carry you to the door. Your declaration will help you walk through it. My child, listen closely and take this into your bones. Do not return to the old doorway. The moment of movement is holy, and it is vulnerable. As the door you prayed for begins to swing, The voices that once caged you will make one last push to rehire your mind. They will whisper like old acquaintances, "It won't last. You'll lose it. You don't deserve it." They will find you out. Better sabotage it before it disappoints you. These are not prophecies. They are echoes from a room I already emptied. They do not foresee your future. They only remember your former fear. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Guard your mind now, for the gate of your thoughts is the hinge of this door. Take every thought captive to obey Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:5. You do not have to entertain every intruder simply because it knocks loudly. Here is how you guard the moment of movement. Slow down. When the email arrives, breathe. When the call comes, take a walk before you answer. When the meeting is set, sleep the night prior and pray in the morning. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Stillness does not oppose strategy, it purifies it. Keep the simple stabilizing routines I taught you in the waiting. Open the scriptures before you open your inbox. Drink water before coffee. Eat a real meal before a hasty decision. Step outside and feel sunlight on your face. Keep the Sabbath you promised me even as pace increases. Seek wise counsel without abdicating your discernment. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Proverbs 15:22. Ask, is this peace or pressure? Is this obedience or performance? Is this service or spectacle? Am I trying to prove I should be in the room? Or am I showing up to carry what I was assigned? Let motive checks be your early warning system. Guard your revelations too. Do not overshare prematurely. Treasure what I am growing until its roots can bear the weight of attention. Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. Luke 2:19. You are not hiding from fear. You are sheltering from wind while the tender leaves strengthen. Not every favor requires a post. Not every contract requires a caption. Not every reconciliation needs a broadcast. Let your fruit speak when it is ripe. Announcements are not the anointing. The room I am opening knows your name. You do not have to shout down the hallway to be seen. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Remember, you are not chasing anymore. You are responding. You are not forcing doors. You are walking through what I open. I open and no one can shut. Revelation 3:7. This is patient obedience, not panicked sprinting. Do the next right thing, not everything. Let favor build line upon line, precept upon precept, steady as dawn. Isaiah 28:10. The urge to do it all at once is the old bondage dressed in productivity. Refuse the frenzy. Identify the one action that agrees with peace today and do it well. Send the follow-up with clarity. Review the contract with counsel. Outline the first deliverable. Rest your body. Pray for the meeting's participants by name. Let tomorrow's grace meet you tomorrow. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Matthew 6:34. And sufficient for the day is its own grace. When the whispers rise, it won't last. Answer them. Your silence once sounded like agreement. Now let your voice bear witness. Say to your soul, He who began a good work in me will carry it to completion. Philippians 1:6. When the hiss says, you'll lose it, respond, what God entrusts to me, I keep through wisdom and peace. When shame insists, you don't deserve it, declare, I have been made worthy by mercy. My worth is settled law. When fear warns, if you don't grip it tight, it will slip. Confess, I refuse to grasp, I receive and steward. Train your mind to think on what is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable. Philippians 4:8. This is not denial, it is dominion over the mental terrain. Set your mind on things above. Colossians 3:2. Replace the loop that sprinted you into collapse with a liturgy that walks you into longevity. Do not test yourself by toying with the old doorway. You do not need to peek into the rooms I closed to prove you are over them. Curiosity about what once owned you is a trap. Release relics of the former pattern. Delete the contact that only ever blurred your boundaries. Archive threads that trigger panic. Return keys that open buildings where your soul got small. Clear your desk of papers tied to obligations I never gave you. Cast off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light. Romans 13:12. Guard your gates, the eyes. Moderate what you watch when you are tired. The ears. Limit the voices that stir comparison and contempt. The mouth. Refrain from vows made in adrenaline. The feet. Do not walk to places that re-enroll you in old paces. This is not legalism. This is logistics of holiness during transition. Humility must ride with momentum. As steps accelerate, let gratitude deepen. Thank me before you thank them. Keep short accounts. Quick to repent, quick to forgive, quick to reset. Hold boundaries without hostility. Let your clarity be kind. Build structures that carry you when emotion dips. Calendar blocks for prayer. Recurring check-ins with wise friends. Financial guardrails that prevent impulse agreements. A weekly review where you and I look at what's on your plate and remove what I did not serve. The steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord. Psalm 37:23. Ordered steps produce ordered outcomes. If disorder begins to creep, pause. You likely said yes beyond your assignment or no beneath your courage. Adjust, and peace will return. If you wish, let your fingers write this now to train your mind and steady your feet. I do not return to the old doorway. I guard my mind at the moment of movement. I am not chasing. I am responding to what God opens. I will do the next right thing and let favor build line upon line. Say it softly, then say it again until it sits. Declarations are not decoration. They are direction for your inner world. My child, lift your eyes. The time of reversal is not theoretical. It is approaching your life, even now weaving through schedules and systems to find you. We will seal this word in a moment, with prayer, with a decree, with the amen of your agreement, so that what I have announced becomes anchored in you. Ready your heart to receive, not with strain but with surrender. Now is the time. No more delay, not in guarding your mind, not in walking with peace, not in stepping through the door. I reopen with the stability of one who knows they are loved and led. My beloved child, be still now and let me place my hand upon the place that has been bracing. I am here. I am near. I am the one who interrupted your scrolling and sat you down, not to scold you, but to seal you. Open your mouth to me and let us pray together. Not a performance prayer, but a placing down prayer. A prayer that returns keys to my hand and receives my peace without bargaining. Where you are, if you are able, breathe slowly and say this to me, and I will answer even as you speak. Father, I surrender control of timing back into your wisdom. I release bitterness toward people and toward myself. I lay down the story that says I failed and the sentence that says it's over. I yield my calendar, my inbox, my opportunities, my reputation, my sleep, my name. I ask you to rule my heart with your peace. I ask for discernment to recognize the right door by peace and to let counterfeit urgency pass me by. I forgive those who shut doors on me. I forgive myself for the ways I pushed and panicked. I choose trust. I choose rest. I choose alignment. In Jesus' name, amen. Now hear me and continue in this posture while I restore what accusation tried to rewrite. Say with me, I renounce the labels that never came from you, Lord. Unworthy, late, too much, not enough, unreliable, disqualified. I break agreement with shame's nickname and fear's forecast. I receive the name you speak over me, beloved, chosen, redeemed, equipped, protected, provided for. I am your child, a steward, not a beggar, a builder, not a burden, a son, a daughter with a seat at the table. To all who received him, he gave the right to become children of God. John 1:12. Let your name be my covering, your identity my key. I speak into the unseen now with the authority of the cross. By the blood of Jesus, I answer every accusation raised against my name. Revelation 12:11. I appeal to the higher court, where mercy triumphs over judgment. James 2:13. I ask that every file where my losses were recorded be placed under the testimony of Christ, and that every verdict of delay meant for my protection would now, at the appointed time, be converted into authorized access. I break in his name the residue of old covenants that do not belong to me, agreements with scarcity, with hustle as worth, with chaos as normal, whether learned, inherited, or vowed in nights of fear. Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law, Galatians 3:13. Therefore the invisible locks attached to my bloodline have no legal right to my future. I announce freedom to my family name, honor to those who come after me, and peace to those who have gone before me. Let what hindered become history. Let what you promised become present. I call for the records that bear my portion to be brought forward without obstruction. Angels of the Lord who heed my Father's word, go now and minister concerning this decree. Psalm 103:20. Uncover what was misfiled, retrieve what was delayed, reveal what was hidden in plain sight. Where there have been whispers of not now for my protection, let there be a clear now for my advancement. Where men said, we went another direction, let truth lead them back if it is my assignment, and let me be content if it is not. Where fear dressed as wisdom to keep me small, let true wisdom rise and enlarge my steps beneath me. Psalm 18:36. Now receive my hand upon your head, for I am commissioning you to walk like one named by peace. I decree over you, doors reopening without demanding your soul, clarity arriving without confusion, approvals moving without manipulation, reconciliations possible where there is fruit worthy of trust, resources aligning with the purpose I planted in you, teams forming that honor your humanity, counsel appearing at the exact hour you need it, mentors and peers who protect your boundaries, even as they celebrate your gifting. You will not have to contort to be kept. You will not be flattered into fatigue. You will not need to disappear to belong. The door will open again, and you will walk through it with peace and wisdom, bearing a restored name and a stable heart. I confer strength for stewardship. Receive it. Strength to say yes without fear and no without shame. Strength to price your work with integrity, to plan with holiness, to Sabbath without apology, to end an agreement that endangers your peace, to amend a term that injures your rest, to ask for clarity, to wait for witness. In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Your strength is not in the speed of your reply. It is in the solidity of your alignment. Your courage will be calm. Your authority will be gentle. Your fruit will be durable. Let us seal this now with a final prayer, and as you say it, imagine placing your old keys into my palm and receiving a new set shaped like peace, wisdom, and your true name. Father, I thank you for closing what would have closed me and for reopening what will honor me. I receive the restoration of my identity. I accept the terms of peace. I bless the process that formed me. I cancel every agreement with panic, bitterness, and self-blame. I bless the people I will meet at the new door. I release the people from the old hallway. Appoint your angels to go before me. Let favor and truth be my twin escorts. Proverbs 3:3-4. Establish the work of my hands. Keep me steady when momentum increases. Teach me to carry blessing without being carried away. Make my home a sanctuary, my name a testimony, my work an altar, my words a key. Over this threshold I declare, now is the time. No more delay. In Jesus' name, amen. Hear me as a father who sends and surrounds. I am not just opening a door, I am walking through it with you. When the room greets you, listen for the quiet in your chest. That is my sign. When old fear tries to ride your shoulders, put it down with the sentence we have practiced. When nostalgia comes to negotiate, bless it and keep walking. When celebration comes, let gratitude be loud and pride be small. When tests come, let counsel be near and rest be honored. What is returning will return with honor, not with hurry. What was held will come back into your hands without stain. What was promised will fit you because you are no longer wearing their labels. If this prayer bears witness in you, mark it as agreement. Like this word as a sign before me that you have said yes to peace. Write one declaration in the comments or in your journal to seal it. Let your fingers inscribe what your spirit knows. My true name opens the right door, or I will steward favor with wisdom, or now is the time, no more delay. Share this with someone who needs to be reached in time, not for numbers but for rescue. Become the messenger that snatches another child from the council of panic. And stay close, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that my reminders can find you in the rush of your days. I am building a people who do not trade their future for a feeling, who do not surrender their crowns to counterfeit kings, who walk into rooms whole and leave them holy. You are such a one. Go now in peace, my beloved, for peace will go with you and you will return with honor.